I'm Julie Bevan and I am a solution-focused hypnotherapist. And today I want to talk about alcohol. And this is aimed predominantly at women, but that doesn't rule out men. Please, if you're a gentleman, take from it what you would like. But I'm going to be talking about how alcohol can affect women in general. So I often get women roughly from the 30s through to the 60s who will come to me and don't tell me that alcohol is a problem, which is fine. I don't need to know what the problem is as a hypnotherapist. But as they trust me, it comes pouring out, and there's embarrassment and tears and upset and real stress about it because they feel embarrassed, they feel that they can't control themselves and they want to stop or they want to reduce, but just can't, and they beat themselves up because they haven't got the motivation, or that's what they believe. So I don't nag. I don't say, oh gosh, really? That's awful. What I want to know is, so what do you want instead? And that often makes them just stop and think, because they can then be in control. And very, very often the answer will be, I would like to be able to have 1 glass of wine and be happy with that and don't want any more. Or I would like a few days, 2 or 3, 4 days off a week with no alcohol, and then just have a few on the days I am drinking and enjoy it, but feel in control. And that is the main thing. They want control of the alcohol, not the alcohol having control of them. So before I give you these tips, and they're really simple things you can ask yourself and put into practice, let me talk about why it's a good idea to reduce our alcohol intake when it seems to be getting a little out of control. So the main one is, for ladies, is weight gain. Alcohol is really calorific and it will put the weight on. Sleep. It destroys our sleep. I often see people who say, yeah, but it's the only thing that sends me off to sleep. It might help you go off to sleep, but it will wake you up. It will interfere with your dream sleep, so you feel groggy in the morning. I know that if I've had a couple of glasses of wine, I can guarantee that 2 o'clock in the morning, wide awake, can't get back to sleep. Fertility. I see ladies who come because they've been told they want IVF, but they need to lose some weight and reduce their alcohol because they've got a better chance of becoming pregnant. It can make menopausal symptoms worse. And also, as we get older, it can also make osteoporosis, us more likely to have osteoporosis. So let's look at some of the things that affect why and when we drink. So the ladies I see, like I said, in their 30s through to their 60s, they have in common, they're busy, they've got careers, kids, their finances might be a little stretched because of the kids or things that are going on. Parents getting older, feeling older. We've got empty nest as well when the children go. There's all these things that can be a trigger for why we're then taking a few more drinks. And at the end of the day, we can use it as an excuse. So you put all of that together, and then on top of that, the pandemic, where suddenly you might have been collecting the kids from classes, from clubs, so you don't drink. You could be going to the gym, exercise classes, going out to see friends, meeting up with them, and you didn't drink because you had something to do, you had somewhere to go. But now with the pandemic, suddenly 7 days a week, put on top of a lot of stress, we're home. And it's a lot easier to drink then. So the brain, the good old chimp brain, can be saying, oh, you've homeschooled all day, you deserve a glass of wine. You've had to cope with a really busy household. You need a glass of wine. to get through this day. You've got washing, you've got cleaning, you've got trying to get some work done. You need it to get through. And suddenly, in our brain, we are formatting that it's the new norm. Drinking equals relaxation. Now, I'm a hypnotherapist. I am not an expert in alcohol at all. So some of the facts and figures I get, I go to proper websites such as DrinkAware and NHS. And on there, I saw a great comment which says it is used as the ultimate decompression tool. And I thought that was a really good expression. It sums it up. We believe the only way I can relax is to have a drink, or two, or three. Now, this happened to me a few years ago. It was a really nice summer, and I was eating out, the family out in the garden. And because it was so nice, I'd have a drink. But it went on and on, these beautiful days, and before I knew it, it wasn't one glass of wine, it was two. Or then I might as well finish the bottle if I was sharing it. But then we might go into a little bit more. But each evening I felt foggy and fuzzy, didn't sleep well, woke up this morning, didn't feel brilliant. But then the next evening I would do the same. And it took me a little while to realise I don't like this. I am not getting anything done. I wasn't reading, I wasn't doing any exercise, and it was making me feel awful. So my solution, and if you know me or have seen my videos, I don't ever give advice, because what works for me won't work for you. But what I did, my solution was, I got one of my very nice glasses, not an everyday glass, a nice glass, and I had tonic water. And I sipped that, and I enjoyed it. And then that became the new habit. And yeah, I'd maybe have a glass of wine on a Friday night or Saturday night, but during the week I would have tonic water, and I felt so much better. I slept better. And that was my solution. I became back in control of how much alcohol I was going to have, and I felt so much better. But there was that bit of my brain, that fight, flight and freeze part, that's saying, but you need alcohol. But my intellectual brain says, you don't. You're going to sleep rubbish. You're going to feel awful. Tonic water. And after a few days, that became the new norm. So you will find what works for you. So what I want to say as well is that a red flag for anyone is if you say, I want to reduce my alcohol, or I'm going to do a dry January, or whatever it is, and you can't. You find it really difficult, or just can't do it, then that would be a red flag that you need a little bit more help, or just the processes just to reduce your the control the alcohol has of you. So here's the tips. Here are the questions that I would ask you if you were sat in front of me. When don't you drink? And it could be, well, I don't drink on a such and such a night because I have to drive. I don't drink on another evening because I have to look after someone else's child, and I couldn't possibly drink if I was looking after someone. Whatever it is. There will be times when you don't drink. I would say, how do you do that? How do you not drink? And often people say, well, I can't drink and drive, or I couldn't drink when I've got someone else's child. But it's the realisation that you have control. When you say, I can't drink and drive, I can't look after someone else's child, and you don't drink, you have complete control over the alcohol at that point. So if you've got that control, then you can use those resources on other occasions. And if I see someone who says, oh, there's every evening I drink, especially now I can't go anywhere. So when don't you drink during the day? Oh, I don't drink during the morning or the afternoon because I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Again, you have control. You are telling that fight, flight and freeze part, no, I cannot drink because. I won't drink because of this. And I bet you will underestimate when you don't drink. And when you see the times that you don't, then you know you've got the resources to do it. And there are times, so if someone says that I always drink when I'm going to cook, used to be me, cooking evening meal, I needed a glass of wine. My question to you is, what would you like to do instead? And it's not for me to tell you what that answer is going to be, but what would you like? And there's always going to be something that you'd prefer to be doing than drinking that glass of wine, because you're telling me you don't want it. And then when you've decided what you've come up with, then imagine yourself doing it, not just briefly for a few seconds. Really relax and visualize yourself doing it, how you're going to do it, where you're going to be when you're doing it, because the brain doesn't understand the difference between imagination and real life. So if you imagine it, your brain thinks you're already doing it, and that's easier then to break these habits. And lastly, and this is a safety thing, is if you are drinking a lot of alcohol every day, please do not just stop. You need to speak to a doctor who has got far more experience and knowledge than I have of alcohol. But it can be dangerous if you're drinking a lot of alcohol to just immediately stop. You can start to reduce it, but please speak to your doctor because they know far better than I do. So I hope this was of use, and I will see you again soon. Bye-bye.